Hi there. Today I want to talk about setting up your product organization for success, and particularly about one specific don't. Please don't hire two different people, two separate people as PM and PO. Why? Because I believe this creates an unfortunate and kind of artificial cut between discovery, validation, and delivery. Because we like to portray them as separate phases, they're really not, right? They're not at all. In fact, delivery is actually nothing more than a kind of expensive experiment in some cases. So I believe that when you deliver a feature, this is another way of validating your assumptions, and your user behavior data, your user analytics data is another test result. And a test result with relatively strong evidence strength, of course, depending on how much user data you've collected and over which time horizon. So what I did to kind of show that, to demonstrate that, is I prepared a kind of super simplified opportunity solution tree to kind of show you how these phases feed into each other. So we see like a movement that goes downstream and then a movement that goes back upstream. So in this example, I hope you can read it. On top, we have a product outcome, which in the case of this product is we want to increase the percentage of new users who create and assign 5 tasks within 7 days. I took the example of task management software, or software that integrates some task management capabilities in some way or form. So we've maybe identified that if a new user creates and assigns at least 5 tasks within 7 days, that really boosts retention, right? So that was our product metric. And so we have a PM, a great PM, who did a lot of discovery, who did a bunch of interviews, and they detected a bunch of opportunities. And here I listed 3 opportunities. Of course, in a proper opportunity solution tree, you'll have like multiple levels of opportunities. You'll have more complex like parent-child structures. As mentioned, this is super simplified, mainly to show you that motion. So I just listed some top-level opportunities. For example, one thing that might drive people to create more tasks is the opportunity that maybe came up in interviews. I want to attach files of any format to my tasks. So maybe that's the opportunity that you want to pursue. How do you decide that? For example, based on how many times it's been mentioned, how well it fits your strategy and your vision. Maybe you can check in some historic user data and user behavior data, whether this is a good decision. Maybe there's competitive analysis. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into figuring out whether this is the opportunity to pursue. Let's say you're the PM and you decided this is the one, right? We're going to go here. Then you've generated a bunch of solution ideas and you've compared them against each other. And you decided, for example, that you're going to go with idea 1, or you're going to further explore idea 1, being I want to allow users to attach files in these 4 formats, namely MP4, videos, CSV, XLS, 5 formats, JPEG and PDF. So that's one idea. There's another idea that was also in play at some point, which is maybe just to allow users to attach a simple URL, whatever. Let's say you continue, so you tested a couple of ideas, you compared them against each other, and you progress with idea number 1. Underneath idea number 1 are a couple of assumptions. That's this yellow layer in the middle. And then you come up with tests to validate these assumptions. You might have tests that test a bunch of assumptions. You might be able to wipe out multiple ideas by wiping out one assumption. So anyhow, you have this kind of layer of opportunities, solution ideas, assumptions underpinning those solution ideas, and then tests that test those assumptions. This all feels very PM-y, right? This is all very Teresa Torres, continuous discovery habits, very PM-y. So some example tests that I listed here is we do a landing page tests, we made a prototype, we did a usability test, we did buy a feature test. There's like a variety of test methods from cheap to more expensive that you could execute. Let's say we did those 3 tests. And we got some positive results, right? So you see already here in this first arrow that goes down, we have this discovery data that feeds into the decision in which opportunity to pursue and which solution ideas we're going to test, right? But then we do these tests in this orange layer, and we get all this test data, and that already feeds back into the opportunity solution tree. That goes already back up in the opportunity space, because it tells us, for example, okay, is this the best solution idea? Does it really address the opportunity all that well? And also, does this still seem like the best opportunity to pursue, right? Maybe our assumptions are being falsified. So first we have this downward motion, but then we also have this upward motion. And then I added this last layer, which is delivery, which I could almost put in the test layer, because in my view, delivering a feature is another test, right? So now we decided on, okay, we tested these ideas. In the end, we did this prototype with usability tests. We iterated on it. We came up with a pretty solid feature idea. It goes into delivery, right? The Scrum team starts working on it. We see this PO role kind of kicking into effect. Then also, after we launch the feature, we will hopefully be collecting launch data. So we'll be looking at, for example, feature adoption and feature retention data. So we want to check, is this feature actually being used, and why is it, or why not? And we also want to check, of course, in the end, the impact this has on our product outcome at the top of the tree there. So this barrier all the way down from delivery, all this information also flows all the way back up, back to the opportunity space, and also back to the product outcome. So, to reiterate the basic principles of Agile, if you're a good product manager, you're not trying to deliver a full-blown feature set or full-blown module or product here in this delivery phase. You're trying to deliver something that is both minimum but also viable, very hard, and try to get that in the hands of real users as quickly as possible to get real-world feedback. So it only makes sense for the person who has helped set that product metric, who has mapped out this opportunity space, and who has validated all of these solution ideas, to also be the one delivering the winning feature. And it should also be that same person who measures the launch data to feed that back into the opportunity solution tree, so into the opportunity space. If you separate this work between two people, you create a very strange artificial cut, and you lose a lot of knowledge along the way.